Hello champions, how are you doing? All of you fine people keep asking me questions on WhatsApp, in the comment section of YouTube videos, on Facebook and in several other ways. I thought I will answer one of the questions on a video this time. And more specifically, I wanted to do this because the same question came to me twice in the last week. So here's the question. I'm going to read it. It says, "Sir, video is very good. Thank you very much. I need help from you." Here's the video. As I am a small business owner, I am doing business since last 15 years and day by day business is going down. I'm in big loan and in stress. Well, the same question comes to me all the time, specifically also because we are a consulting company and we consult small business owners on how to structure their business and grow and propel. And the question may not be worded in the same way. People may ask me, oh, you know what, in the last 2-3 years, my business has got stagnant, which wasn't the case when my father started it or whenever we started it, and several other ways of expression. And I thought it is important for me to answer this on the video so that I can clarify for all of you wonderful champions so that you can grow and propel your company. Now, I'm going to break this entire conversation into two parts. One, I will tell you what is it that you should do so that you can avoid getting into such a scenario. Second is, if you're already in this scenario, then what are the options that you have at your disposal to take care of it. So let's start with the first one. Whenever your business is running great or whenever you're drawing up your sales or marketing plan, in management books, there is a theory called Porter's 5 forces theory. Without getting into the technicalities of it, I'll tell you what it really means. It means that you should, as a business owner, should always keep an eye on some of these things. Number one, the new entrants that are coming in your industry. Why? Because the new entrants coming in your industry means that your product has a natural demand, and that natural demand is visible to everybody. So they are wanting to take a pie of the profits that are there and very much visible. When such a thing happens, you should speed up and eat up your entire market as quick as you can. Because if you allow those new entrants to establish, you are enabling competition in your industry. More the competition, obviously bad the market is. The second thing that you should keep an eye on is alternatives. While you are checking on the new entrants in your industry, also keep an eye on the alternative options that are coming in the market for your customer. It's like if you have a fast food business and you're selling sandwiches, and suddenly you don't have a new entrant in sandwiches, but you have somebody offering burgers. He also is a competition for you because the customer may choose between sandwiches and burgers. So keep an eye on that as well. The other thing that you should keep an eye on is to safeguard your margin, which is what's your negotiation power when you purchase these products. If there are very few vendors supplying you raw material, your bargaining power is going to reduce because you don't have an alternative, you don't have an option. But if there are several vendors that you've identified, then your bargaining power increases. And this is what corporates do. They don't buy from one vendor. They de-risk themselves. They buy from variety of vendors simply to make sure not one person gets the entire power and therefore high on negotiation. That's exactly what you must do as well. The fourth thing that you should keep a check on is how powerfully can your customer negotiate with you. You may have wafer thin margins if your purchasing negotiation is not there. And imagine if the customer is able to negotiate with you hard as well. Maybe because the customer does not have that burning need that your product really solves. So the customer may say, hey, you know what, it's a good to buy product and I can bargain a little higher. If that's the case, it's not a very good market to be in. All in all, what I'm trying to say is the rivalry that's there in your industry between you and the players that are there providing similar or alternative products and serving that same customer whose awareness about alternative and your competitor is very high. leads to schemes, discounts, credit period, and the more all of that is in play, the more the rivalry, and the more the rivalry, the bad attractive market that is. It's not attractive at all. You should avoid getting into markets like that. How do you do that? By keeping a watch on all of these points that I just mentioned to you. What should your mindset be, therefore? Assuming you see all of these things happening, what should you do? Well, the word is innovate, but you cannot innovate by thinking of out of box ideas just like that. So I will give you a reference point. A reference point of this person who has worked in very closely with Steve Jobs at very close quarters, and I like what he says. His name is Guy Kawasaki. You could go Google him up and see some of his videos, his literature, and his ideas on how to run business. There is this one point that is very relevant to the context of what we are discussing. And that point is, he says, don't run behind money, run behind value. Which means, he says that, as long as you focus on giving value to the customer, as long as you focus on solving the customer's problem, which by the way requires you to talk to your customers, keep an eye on all of these things that I discussed, you will be ahead of the game and money will automatically follow. You don't want to be the Kodaks of the world who was focusing on my business is of reels. He was not focusing on what the customer really wants. These are not the Merus of the world. These are Ubers of the world who focused on making sure that the cab reaches where the cab is required. If you focus on delivering value, which your customer wants, money will automatically follow. That ends my first section of this video. The second section is, if you're already into this problem, then what should you go about doing? So there are not a lot of options, but there are two that I will highlight. Number one, you should list down all your products that you're selling. Think of products that are low in demand and have very wafer thin margins. Those products, do a distress sale, get them off. Why? You need quick money even if the money is small. It will help you get off your loans, pay off your creditors, and you will slowly move into a more healthier business. You will at least be able to give yourself an opportunity to come out of that coma situation. You should only be focusing on selling the most profitable products and the most in demand. So if you have 100 rupees, spend the entire 100 on buying only those products which have high profit margins and they are high in demand. When you earn a hefty amount, or let's say a little healthier amount than the others, you will be able to slowly start paying the creditors who give you the product which is profitable and high in demand. That's how you slowly come out of the cash flow situation. Cutting the costs in the right areas is what is going to help you. Now, assuming that is also not a situation that you are in the worst situation where all your products are products where you have alternatives and tremendous amount of competition, and the buyer is bargaining at a very heavy tone. So is the purchaser. So is the person who's delivering you are purchasing from. You are in a bad shape, my friend. If all of your products are that way, the advice is group them up, do a distress sale, get out of that business. It's not sane to be in the business which is already in a storm. It's only insane to think that you will survive in a storm without any possibility. So the best option is run. Get out of that business as fast as you can. And whatever money you gather, clear off your creditors, clear off your loans, and make sure you come to a good standing so that now with this experience, you can start a business that grows and propels. I would love to answer all of these questions from you wonderful propellers and champions. Mention in the comments if you have questions with respect to your current business situation, and I will answer them. I will either answer them by commenting and replying to your comments on YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. And if the question is similar to the other questions that I've received, maybe during my consulting sessions or on any other forums, I will be very happy to do a video on it. Some of the questions come to me on Quora.com as well. So if you want to go through the responses that I have given there, you may just visit Quora.com and search for my profile, and you will see all the answers that I have given to some of the common questions. I hope that you like the tips and tricks we discussed in the video, and if you are in this situation, you will implement that and come out of that. Do give me feedback if you've implemented any of these strategies that we discussed. Obviously, like you have questions, please feel free to share and comment with me. Until we meet next time, of course, do like this video if this is relevant to you. And until we meet next time, keep learning, keep implementing, and keep propelling.